All right, it's time for another edition of Rookie Watch. Welcome to the PHLY team here, as we are presented by Bet365. DERIK, Kyle, Devon Bree is here as well. And guys, we got to talk about three rookies in particular this week as we focus on starting with the Charlotte Hornets guard, the fourth overall pick in June's draft, and that is Kon Knueppel, who has jumped up in the rookie ladder to number one, because VJ Edgecombe has hit a little bit of a wall, and Kon Knueppel has just kept going, man, and he has played really well for the Charlotte Hornets. Kyle, Kon Knueppel on the season right now, 16.6 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 2.8 assists through the 11 games. He has been fantastic.
He's been awesome, and it's a testament to everything that we saw at Duke, right? I don't think anything that he is doing right now is, oh, God, I didn't know Kon had that to his game. If anything, it's a reminder for the people who are only seeing bits and pieces of him that, yes, he did in fact do this at a high level all last year, was a big-time high school player. I think the most impressive part is that some of these big games that he's played have come without LaMelo Ball, where he's been tasked with a heavier creation burden, where he's had to do more of it on his own. It has not always been the three-point shot. He's shot really well to start the year. In fact, I believe he had the best three-point shooting start for a rookie ever in terms of volume of threes made. That doesn't mean he's going to be the best three-point shooter ever. I think the more encouraging thing is that over his last, I want to say 6-7 games, he's making an impact as a rebounder. And that was something we saw at Duke, that he's tough, he's physical, he wants to mix it up on both the defensive and the offensive end for rebounds. But when you brought up the athleticism concerns, you're wondering, hey, when he's got to go up against bigger, more athletic, longer players, how does that hold up? Going back to the November 1st game against Minnesota, he's had 8, 6, 12, 8, 10, 6 rebounds. That's while he had a stretch where he was the first rookie to get 3 different consecutive 20-point games. After that, he has a game where he's got 19, 10, and 9. He's lighting up the box score. The Hornets have been competitive. So I've been super encouraged by his play. We were all very high on Kon, so we're not that surprised that he's been an impact guy. But great job by Charlotte to not get faked out by the concerns about white guy from Duke.
Brought up his recent play. Last 5 games, 21.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, which you brought up, 4 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 37% from 3 on almost 10 attempts per game. It is really like his all-around game has translated. Obviously he showed it at Duke. We brought up at the conference tournaments when Cooper was out and he had to create a little more of their offense. That's showing up here over the last couple of games as well. And when you combine that, like his ability to do that and get to his spots, get to the middle of the floor, even though he doesn't have all that much burst off the dribble, but his ability to get to the spots, keep his head up, make good decisions, and bomb away from 3, it has translated almost right from the jump. I think a lot of people viewed him as one of the more ready players to contribute offensively, at least in this class, and he has shown every bit of that here of late.
No, the kid can play, and when you look at him out, and when we talked about him during the pre-draft and asking how would he fit here in Philadelphia or where would he fit maybe somewhere else, and when it came down to the Charlotte piece, we said collectively that that's not a bad spot for him because they need him just as much as he needs them for his outside shooting, for the stability of him being out there as a guard who can rebound, who can pass the ball, and just play fundamental basketball out there and contribute to what they're doing. He has been fantastic for them. So I'll ask this question, though, just as we love VJ Edgecombe here, but just because we talked about him a lot here in Philadelphia as an option, now that we've seen this new version of Tyrese Maxey and seeing Grimes off the bench and Joel Embiid, of course, with what he does, there was no reason for us to shade away from him when we talked about him. We all still had him in that top 5 as we made our final choices. I just kind of playing with it a little bit there as far as how the lineup. How you feel like he would have fit here still with the way you've seen him start?
Oh, offensively, he would have been a seamless fit. Whether that's alongside of Embiid and you could run him off of DHO or run him off ball screens, or even alongside Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, shooting is valuable almost every next to almost every archetype, and then even just getting up and down in transition. Like he would have been a real good fit offensively in virtually every context. defensive concerns would have been there.
Yeah.
But he would have had a lot of success here offensively.
That's all the concern is. Like, what does the defense look like? And especially, what does the defense look like in a playoff setting where there is more of a deliberate attempt to target guys with his limitations? But there have been some games where he's frankly held up pretty well on that end. So that's a wait and see, but great start by him.
I don't know if he would have worn number 77 here, though.
I do not suspect he would have worn 77.
Maybe 17. No. Maybe he would have gone in that direction. For Kon Knueppel, fantastic start. Number 1 on the rookie ladder right now this week. We got to get to the next guy. Should we go to the big man or the name that pops on this one?
Oh, we got to go Ace.
We got to go Pops? Let's go to Ace Bailey.
We'll save the other guy for last because he's been very exciting.
He's been very
Ace
exciting.
Bailey's got a lot of interest around here.
Yes, he does. Ace Bailey has rebounded in a sense after a tough start. Missed a couple of games there early because of injury. And then he got out there and just simply did not look good, Kyle. But as of late, at least for the month of November, he's averaging 10 points, 3.8 rebounds. He's also shooting 33% in the month of November from behind the three-point line, but 47% from the floor. And his minutes are up, and he's starting to seem like he's figuring it out a little bit with the Jazz.
And I would say, I said this on an earlier edition of our Rookie Watch. I thought watching their games that there were opportunities to be had for him where guys are not finding him, or there are possessions where he's just standing in the corner and they need to use him more. And frankly, I get it for the the illness he had, and he had some tendonitis in both knees. I get why he didn't start the year. I think they did wait a little too long. Like, I don't need to see Svi Mikhailiuk starting over Ace Bailey on any basketball team if I'm trying to develop him. And to his credit, as he's come into the starting lineup, I've watched a lot of these minutes. He has done a good job of buying into what Will Hardy and their coaching staff has asked, which is to be a movement player, someone who's coming off of screens, taking catch and shoot jumpers, not ball handling a ton. Obviously, he's still going to attack off the dribble every once in a while. He had a very notable reverse dunk at the end of a game against Minnesota recently that popped for a lot of people. But I care a lot more about, I think he's done his job and he has fit in. And then when you see him against Indiana, all those reps, all that time doing the things that you're being asked to do, you get more opportunity in a starting role these last couple of games. And he has a 20-point game, super efficient, 4 of 8 from 3, 7 of 13 from the field. So excellent game from Ace, obviously his best game yet. And so we'll see now that he's got his legs under him and he's with this starting group. I'm curious to see exactly how they scale him up from here.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been a real good bounce back after some real tough struggles to start the season. Like the last 2 games, inserted in the starting lineup, the 20 points against the Pacers being the highlight. And it is, Kyle brought it up, but it was a lot of catch and shoot. They had a sideline out of bounds play they drew up for him, got him a really good look. 1 or 2 dribbles at most getting into his pull up. And when he is playing that style of basketball, that's when he is going to be at his most effective. I think it's still going to be, sort of like VJ. Like VJ has had his ups and downs as a rookie. I think you're going to see a lot of ups and downs from Ace, in part because he's super young, in part because he's very reliant on that jumper, and that's just naturally going to be a little bit of an inconsistent shot. And also, he's figuring a lot of stuff out, and he's at a real strength disadvantage at this stage of his career. So I think it's going to be, a roller coaster a little bit for Ace. But I'm happy to see him bounce back because it was really, he was struggling quite a bit there over the first 7 or 8 games. And, this is, to Kyle's point, I was a little surprised when he's playing 12, 13 minutes tonight. This is a kid you drafted top 5. And I get you have some depth there at the forward spot, but let's be honest, you don't have a lot of depth there that you are confident is going to be around long term. Yeah. This is the guy that you have to develop. This is the guy you have to get right. It is good to see him in that starting lineup. And quite frankly, he was put in that starting lineup before he really started playing well. I think that starting lineup may have given him a jolt of confidence that he needed, maybe that he was lacking with how he was struggling to start the season. So I think it was a good move. I think it was a right move. I think it probably came a week or 2 too late, but I think he's at the right spot now.
All right, let's get to the 13th overall pick in June's draft. Controversial in the sense of just because of what happened with the trade surrounding it all with the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Pelicans. Derek Queen, though, Derek has been tremendous this month, man, where he has been really good. 13, 6 boards, close to 4 assists, and 52.5% from the floor. He's had some really good games that have just popped out at everybody, where you can put together these little compilations of how his passing has been, his ball handling, the creation of it all, and holding up defensively, where he may not be as athletic as many that he's defending, but he's holding up really well. DERIK Queen has really showed himself to play really well.
DERIK is still going to get to his, but he spells his name wrong.
He does spell his name wrong, and I'm never going to forgive him for that. But no, he's had 2 really big games. The one against the Hornets and then the one against the Blazers. But besides that, he's been really consistent over the last 5 or 6.
Yep.
I think he's found his role. They've found a good spot in the rotation for him. He's getting a consistent 25 per night, and he's producing. And he's got that skill set where he can take you off the dribble. He can face you up. He can make passes on the move. And I think trying to learn how to integrate that, it's not the most traditional big man in the world, and I think they're doing a good job of finding how to use him. It is a tough spot because of the trade. Like, his expectations are going to be so high through no fault of his own, through the sheer stupidity of his front office. That is sometimes a burden you have to bear coming into the league. But in terms of what he can control, because he can't control what your franchise gave up and what they pinned on your shoulders. In terms of what he can control, though, I think he's had a real nice start to his rookie season. I think certainly over the last week or 2, that has been ratcheted up, and I'm excited to see what he does.
I'll say what I said throughout the pre-draft process. I just love watching this dude play. He's such a unique talent at his size. I think the things that always have jumped out about him are his ability to play at his speed and his pace, but keep people on their heels is really pretty special, because he is not a dominant athlete. He's not someone who's going over the top of you. He's not fast enough where in some of these matchups that he's going right by you, but he has such a great understanding of his footwork, his angles, his timing. And so he can hit you with a slow step, a drag step, and all of a sudden you think he's going up for a layup. He delays just a half beat, half second. And as you kind of jump out of the way, then he's going by you for a scoop, or then somebody's cutting through and he's hitting Trey Murphy on the bounce pass for a layup, whatever it might be. He's piling up a bunch of big assist games. So last 5 games, 8 assists, 7 assists, 5 assists, or excuse me, I'm reading rebounds. 7 assists, 8 assists, 4 assists. He's getting a bunch of these big playmaking games, right? So he's a hub there, and we talked about that, the playmaking be a differential skill for him. And his ball handling at that size is really special. A guy who is able to take you down in the post, but can face you up and can take you off the dribble, can hit the one-legged pull-up type jumpers and things like that. Tremendously fun player. How they ultimately get to a winning formula with him, they have to figure it out, because I think he is best as a 4 right now, and they have to figure out how to structure a team in that way. But he has looked great. I'm personally very happy for him because, as DERIK mentioned, when you deal with pressure that has nothing to do with your game and what you're bringing to the table and is all about a trade that other people made, it's a really unfair spot for a kid to be put in. So I'm really happy for him that he's kind of shedding this, like, forget about the trade, just go out there and hoop. So very good run for him this last week or 2.
Fun player, and it seems like the situation is not all that great around him, but he's going out there and he's performing and taking advantage of the minutes that are given to him. All right, that'll do it for Rookie Watch. Everybody, make sure you go like and subscribe to the show. We really appreciate it. As always, we're going to continue to bring Rookie Watch because this class is really, really fun. A lot of talented young players in the NBA. BJ Edgecombe, as we know, the 3 players that we talked about today, all the way down to Trey Johnson, Jeremiah Fears, Cedric Howard, and so more. So we'll bring more of the Rookie Watch to you throughout the
CMB erasure.
CMB as well. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the PHLY Sixers Podcast. Make sure you go like and subscribe.